Hi, everybody. Welcome to the next episode of Baking with Jen. I'm Jen, and today we are working on empanadas. We're doing the apple empanadas. We've started making the dough and the filling on Tuesday. So we are ready for empanada dough and our empanada filling. Um, on Tuesday, we didn't quite get around to making the corn tortillas. So if these don't take too much time today, we'll try to make the corn tortillas as well. But for now, we're going to focus on the empanadas. So let's get started. First thing we're going to do is we're going to go and turn the oven on to 350, which with my oven, that's the standard set. Let me just turn it on. So while that's heating up, let's get started on rolling out our empanada dough. Let's switch the camera over. All right. So it starts with um, rolling out our dough onto a lightly floured surface. So lightly floured surface. And we're turning out the empanada dough. This is really cold and firm. Like it has been resting for 2 days, so it doesn't seem to want to release from the bowl. Maybe I should have put some kind of lubricant on the bowl. I don't know. It seems to be coming out okay now-ish, but got a nice firm dough. I was a little afraid when we made this dough that it was going to be really, really sticky. But it seems like since it's cold, this is gone away. So this does want to be fairly thin since these are just little hand pies. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to end up only rolling out part of the dough at a time, just because I don't have a lot of work here and I don't want to get overrun by too much dough. So I'm just cutting this down into fourths so that we can just roll out part of the dough at a time. So for rolling this out, everything that I've seen is said that you want it fairly thin. So like this thick is not ideal, which that's fine. Let's see, but we do want it rolled out fairly thin, and then we're going to cut out a bunch of circles. And I'm actually going to lay them out on my pan. I have a sheet pan here that I just have a silicone mat on. You can use parchment paper or some other kind of liner. If you don't have something to line your pan with, at least grease it, because these are little hand pies and they will probably stick. I'm not sure since I've never made them before, but we'll see. So the recipe does say to use a glass to cut them out, but I have a variety of things that I like to use to cut out circles of things. Like we have biscuit cutters. Sometimes I use one of these rings from like canning, and then, or you could always use a glass. If for some reason you don't have any of those, but you don't, it doesn't have to be a glass, it could be a cup. But if for some reason you don't have any cups, you don't have anything circular, you can just use a knife and cut them out. It's not going to be as good, but hey, it's something, right? Okay, so today I was trying to figure out if I want to try to make some like bigger hand pies or smaller ones. I think I want kind of a bigger one, so I am going to use glass. Um, a glass will give me about the same, a little bit smaller than one of these rings, but it's a lot clearer. So that's what we're just going to use a glass. And anytime you're cutting out dough, you want to just push it straight down. And then once it gets to the bottom, that's when you twist it. You don't want to twist as you're going down because it'll seal the edges on dough and it won't let it rise at all. So as we cut these out, we're just going to put them over on our pan. And then once we get the pan full, that's when we will fill them up. Really, really hoping that we can get around to making the corn tortillas today. I was really bummed on Tuesday that we didn't get to make corn tortillas, but that's okay. Things go how they go, and maybe if we don't get around to the corn tortillas today, we might do like a special live stream where we just do the corn tortillas just so that we can get them in, because I don't know what these baking challenges are that we're doing next week, so I won't know if the first one is until tomorrow. If you would like to help me decide what we're going to make for these baking challenges, you can leave a comment on this video or this video. I am releasing an announcement video tomorrow, and so you can put it on that video, or you can join my Patreon and leave a comment there. I am giving more weight to the Patreon than I am to, say, if you leave a comment on a video. But there's nobody in the Patreon right now, so we have to have some kind of something somewhere. So I am going to be releasing an announcement video tomorrow about the challenge and about what the first challenge is going to be. So keep an eye out for that. That is going, I'm really excited to do this challenge with the Make-A-Wish, the Bake-A-Wish weekly baking challenge. It just seems like a lot of fun. I looked at some of the stuff that they did from January and that looked really cool. And so we're just doing this for the month of March, which, like I said, I'm really excited. This seems like right up my alley. It's not necessarily a competition, which I would like to participate in more baking competitions. I just haven't found any like local ones. And then like the national ones are just really hard to put in application stuff for. So I'm just not at that level yet where I can feel like I can fill out one of those applications. Those are very, very involved applications. Oh, but anywho, I'm just setting the extra dough off to the side and we'll roll those out here a little bit later. For now, we're just doing the fresh dough. I'm not sure about empanada dough, but I do know that in general, whenever you are making something that you need to cut out, it's best to get like as many per rollout as you can, because the more you roll it out, the tougher the dough gets, and it's just not a happy life from there. Okay, so we have our first amount rolled out. The sheet pan is all full. So let's bring the sheet pan around and we will start filling these. So in order to get these to stick closed, it is helpful to have an egg wash. I'm going to just take a little ramekin And we're just going to break an egg into here and then beat it up. Beat up our little egg. Yeah, because we'll need an egg wash for getting the sugar for baking them and for getting them to close. So. Alright, so we're all beat up. We could probably beat it up more and it would be a better egg wash, but this is what we're doing right now. Let's see, so these aren't as big as I thought that they were going to be. I pulled out this scoop that I thought would be a good scooping for this, but it looks like this scoop is going to scoop more than what we would want in here. So everything says to put a tablespoon of filling. And I think that might actually be a good amount for these. So let's do this with a spoon. I do have a fairly big spoon. I'm not using like a teeny tiny spoon, like a teaspoon. This is more like a tablespoon, like a soup spoon kind of thing. So we're just going to get a little bit of filling and put it on each of these. Like if you look at that, that actually looks like a ton of filling. So hopefully we're not overfilling these. Now, if it bubbles out, then everything I was seeing says that it's not that big a deal if it bubbles everywhere. It just makes more of a mess. So hopefully we're just not making a huge mess. But they should be delicious either way. So we just have our cinnamon apple brown sugar mixture. There we go. This did have a little bit of lemon juice in it just to kind of preserve everything and keep it all not kosher, but that's the word coming to mind. Because these, I don't even know if these are kosher. I don't think that they are. It's butter. Okay, technically they're not kosher because they're not blessed by a rabbi, but I think that they could be kosher if everything was blessed by a rabbi. Because we have eggs and butter, and I don't know if that's mixing meat and cheese. Oh well. Good thing I am not Jewish, or the only word coming to mind is Islam, and I know that that's not the religion. Whatever that religion is. Either way, they are more kosher and don't eat meat and dairy together. And these have butter in them, which is why they would have dairy. Oh no! Okay, so these are, like, this syrup is going everywhere. So for these, oh no, this is gonna be a huge mess. Okay, let's see about trying to dip some of the syrup back in here. Uh-oh. Yeah, I didn't put anything on the edge. Uh-oh. I don't know if that's gonna be bad or not. Okay, so we'll just try sealing these up like little wontons, and we're gonna use a fork to kind of crimp the edges and see what happens. I'm good. I've made wontons before, so that's something. I wonder, like, if a different shape might be better for sealing ones. I don't know. But I got brown sugar syrup going everywhere. Oh my goodness. These are going to be a huge mess. Oh man, but these are like little tiny bites. I'm actually thinking I might need something bigger than these. Um, these are little empanada bites, I guess. But the videos I watched, it seemed like they made them a lot bigger. I don't know. The one that I have didn't look like it was gonna be. For some reason, I didn't think that these would be this small. I really want them. It would be nice if they were bigger, but this is what we got. I wonder if the brown sugar glaze would make like a good topping on them because I have a lot more of that glaze than I have the actual like what's fitting inside the empanadas. So I wonder how that glaze would do as a topping. Because for this, we brush it with the egg wash and then we bake it for about 20 minutes. It says 18 to 20 minutes. So I wonder if instead of doing the like raw brown sugar, if we used some of this brown sugar syrup, I wonder how that would do. Well, why don't we try? This is, here's what we'll do. This is a test kitchen of sorts. We will try half with the regular brown sugar, and we'll try half with a brown sugar glaze. That sounds like an excellent idea. Besides the fact that these are going to stick to the pan. That's I would like it to reality be different, but I can already tell looking at this with all the brown sugar glaze everywhere, this is gonna be really sticky. But that's okay. We'll see how that turns out. Because worst case scenario that I'm figuring is that we can use the extra syrup as like a dip. That sounds like amazing. We'll have like a dip for the empanadas. Oh man. Sounds good anyway. We'll see what happens. All right. Mm. Oh, so happy Leap Day, everyone. It is Leap Day of Leap Year. Um, if it's your birthday, happy birthday. Um, because I have a uncle whose birthday is today, and I think technically he's like 12. He's only had like 12 real birthdays. Oh, but his daughter is like fully grown, so that's funny. Um, when I was in high school, we had a teacher who turned 18 and absolutely hilarious. Yeah, we had an 18th birthday for her. She was really old. Um, but it was fun. She she was a hoot about it. I think she was one of the English teachers. I never had her as an actual teacher, but um, it was like a school-like thing that they kind of had a birthday party for her because her birthday was on Leap Day and she was it was her 18th real birthday. Oh gosh, what is that movie? My dad told me about it. About the pirate that like a little boy was born on Leap Day, and before he even met his mom or anything, maybe he got put on a pirate ship, and they told him that he had to stay on the pirate ship until his 18th birthday. But because his birthday was on Leap Day, he had to be on the pirate ship for a lot longer. I don't remember what movie it is. My dad told me about it though. I just rinsed the syrup off my hands, and now we have our little empanadas. And I think I sealed them pretty good. Um, at least the juice isn't leaking out of them from the way that I sealed them. So I'm going to use that as my metric here. But I am just going to take these and kind of seal the edges with my fork just to get a little design on them, get them a little pressed together. I'm going to do the rest of these on the pan just because I think it'll be a little bit easier and get a little bit better seal. I just wanted to show you exactly what I'm doing. So I do that. And like I said, I think this, yeah, doing this here on the pan goes a lot faster. And I think I can press a little bit harder and get them a little bit better sealed. I'm not sure how much space these need, so we are gonna just, like you see all the circles, we're just gonna put one per circle and bake it like this. See what happens. This is kind of what we're doing today. We're just seeing what happens. From what I understand, empanadas are more Spanish than like Mexican. Um, they like I grew up with a lot of Mexican food and around Mexican families, and while empanadas might be a thing that some Mexican families do, it wasn't something that any of the Mexican families I hung out with did. And so I'm not sure entirely 100% where empanadas are from. I do know that they eat them in places like Cuba and Spain, and they probably eat them in Mexico. I don't know. Oh, but I originally found these because I was looking for like holidays that had to do with Leap Day, and there's a lot of weird things to do with Leap Day. One of the things I found that I was gonna make, but I'm not gonna make, is toad in a hole, which is basically like a bratwurst type sausage cooked in like a pancake batter, and it's just like all baked together. Like you bake the sausage for a little while, and then you bake the batter, like you pour the pancake batter over it, and then bake that for a little bit longer. That that just seems really weird. I was gonna try it, but we've just had so much going on that I'm just gonna stick with the empanadas today. Um, yeah, I started doing. I decided to do these because these were something to do with Carnival, and it's Carnival season. And no, that's not like state fairs in America. It's actually like big parties with lots of fun people and craziness in lots of places. Kind of like with New Orleans. Sorry, things are going missing in our kitchen. I was trying to look for the little silicone brush that I use for this normally, but all right. So for this one, we're gonna try it with the egg wash and brown sugar just to see how that goes. I'm gonna use the fork to put some egg wash on here and see what happens. But anyways, it's Carnival season. Like New Orleans has Mardi Gras, and I know like Brazil has a big Mardi Gras, not Mardi Gras, big carnival and stuff like that. And like we're saying, it's not the carnival like in the States where you go and you have the state fair and you do all kinds of stuff. Okay, this one is going to fall apart. This one is not wanting to stay together. But that's okay. And we got big pieces of egg, and this is gonna be a mess. Okay, all right. So messes are welcome. We'll just see how that turns out. All right, but yes, so it's carnival season in all the places that do carnival. Um, America's not one of them. The closest we have is New Orleans and Mardi Gras, which Mardi Gras was earlier in the month. Um,
but it's like an equivalent of a carnival, so that's what we got. Yeah. Anybody celebrate Carnival? I don't. At least not me specifically. I just figured it would be fun to bake something for Carnival, which brings us to the empanadas. So I also had a bunch of apples that needed to be used, and it's better to use them for something than to let them go bad. So probably came to apple empanadas. I was originally going to try to do chicken, but yeah, these are teeny tiny. We need something to do these a little bit bigger because I'm not liking how tiny these are. So, okay, our chunk of stuff we don't need. Okay, so I'm gonna put these in the oven. I'm gonna check on them in about 10 minutes, and then because they do say 18 to 20 minutes, but these look kind of small, so we're gonna check on them in about 10 and see how. I'm not trying to clean up all my flour here, but I do want to clean up all of this sticky stuff that's on the counter right here before we roll out some more empanada dough, because I just don't want everything sticking to the counter. And of course, now that I don't need it, I found the brush. So that's fun. Okay, no problem. Alright, this is wet, so we're gonna sprinkle a little and this is like a big chunk of it. I technically cut it in like, I tried to cut it in half, but it wasn't quite half. It was like the other half was bigger than this half. Okay. So now roll. I wonder. Oh, I think I have a bowl that might work to make a bigger, like a bigger empanada. Oh, let's see if that bowl will work. Okay, okay. So just rolling out the dough. This side is really thick right now. I kind of did that on purpose. Kind of not. It's just, this counter's not huge, and so there's only so many places I can like roll it out. But here we go. Ooh, it's getting like the edges are getting a little sticky. So just kind of spin it around in the flour, and it will coat itself in flour. Okay. So roll out these edges a little bit just to get it all kind of thinned out. Alright, that looks pretty good. Okay, so this does want to be fairly thin. Now, we don't want it like paper thin like we were doing with tortillas, but we do want it fairly thin. This is a pie dough, so we want it to be like a pie crust and not like a biscuit. Okay, it's not pie dough, it's empanada dough. It's different than a pie dough, but we're using similar logic here. For some reason, these corners just don't feel like they're rolling out the way they should. And that's something else, is that you don't want to stretch them when you're doing anything with it, because if you stretch it, like you see how I roll it and then it kind of comes back. So if you stretch the dough while you're trying to seal it, it will definitely do that. I think that's part of what happened with that one, is that I think it was just too full and it was trying to stretch, and I think I stretched it instead of just sealing it, and so I don't think I think it like bounced back on itself. This is looking really good. I love dough. I love dough. Oh man. if it wasn't for like baker's hours, I would love to be a baker. Like, can I bake like from, I don't know, 10 in the morning until like 3 in the afternoon? If I could have that be baker's hours, I would totally be a baker. But baker's hours are like midnight to 8 a.m. And I like to sleep at that time. Like, I love baking, but I don't want to wake up in the middle of the night to bake for people. I want to be awake in the daylight. Okay. Looks like we have a fairly rolled out dough. So let me get we have these bowls and they have a much bigger rim. So the only thing is it's because it's flanged out, I'm afraid that it's not gonna cut very well, but we'll see. We'll see. So press down and twist. All right, that's a lot bigger. A lot bigger. I don't think we'll get as many of these as we did of the little ones, but that's okay. Let's see, we've got 2 and 3. And that's looking much better. So let's set these to the side and then we'll roll all of our remainder dough out. Kind of knead it a little bit. We did knead this yesterday a little bit, so it does have like a bit of a gluten built it up in it. There we go. For some reason, like the only thing coming to mind was a gluten intolerance, which I don't know how a dough is going to have a gluten intolerance, but that's where my brain was, so that's fun. Oh man. I guess technically, if you had like a cake dough or something like that, then you don't want a lot of gluten in your cake. I got some bread flour the other day. It was on sale and it was bought for me. So I now have bread flour. We need to figure out something that we're going to do with bread flour that is going to be awesome. Maybe we can make like a Nutella loaf or something. We really have to see what is going to go on with these challenges to see like what we're going to be baking for part of the month. Like the parts that aren't I have my Thursdays planned out pretty well. I do need to get some more ideas for holiday baking, like Easter. Right now for Easter, we're just doing marshmallows, which that could be cool. We'll just do marshmallows for Easter. But I was really wanting to see about doing something else as well. Like I said, I'm not sure what. If you have any ideas, I would really love to hear them. But right now the plan for Easter is marshmallows. And let's see what else we can get into for Easter. Gosh, every time I say Easter, all I hear is the little like TV mic or whatever the TV kid is from Willy Wonka going, "But Easter's over." Oh man, isn't that just like a little kid too? They just like yell out the truth when you don't want them to. Shh! Don't mean all of that. Stop telling the truth, kid. And it's not so much like we don't want the kids telling the truth. It's more of like, stop airing our business everywhere. That's what that is. All right, this seems rolled out fairly thin, which I'm a little impressed because it didn't want to roll out in the beginning. I don't know if y'all were seeing that or not, but in the beginning it was just like going back in on itself. but it's not doing that anymore. It's actually rolling out pretty nicely. I think I need a smaller rolling pin. And some of the tortilla videos I watched, technically empanadas too, but they would have this like little rolling pin that they would roll on the edges. That just seems like it would work a lot better. But this, it rolls out nicely. I just have a small counter, so. Gosh, and then that brings up the Pride and Prejudice. Your garden is rather small, madam. Something. I don't know what she says. Stupid. Not even a queen. Like a duchess or something. Commenting that their garden was small. Okay, yeah, not everyone lives in a house like you do. Whatever. All right. So it seems like we're getting about 3 per each of these, and that's not terrible. That's okay. And then we'll just have to roll the dough out a little bit more than we would like to, which that's fine. It'll work out okay. Oh man, so we don't have a lot of dough left. Let's see how many we can get out of the rest of this. Because we are rolling it fairly thin, so it's not like, not if this was a biscuit, I'd probably be like, that's one biscuit. But be considering that it's thinner than that, I think it'll be okay. I'm definitely smelling the sugar cinnamon baking. It smells nice. It's kind of like when, now I haven't been a realtor, I haven't actually done my own house shopping or anything like that, but I did see in like a realtor magazine where they're like, if you're trying to sell your house, bake something before you have a showing, and then that way it makes people feel more at home. So I'm definitely getting those, I'm baking something and it's home kind of vibes from the smell. So that's awesome. It's also a good trick for if you're going to have like your boyfriend or girlfriend over. If you bake something ahead of time, then it gives like all these kind of feel good feelings, and then they attribute those feel good feelings to you and have them hooked. That's what I've heard anyway. I haven't actually used that myself, but it makes sense that it would work. All right, got one. I want to try to get 2 more out of this. I'm not sure if it'll actually get 2 more, but we'll try. We'll see what happens. We're just rolling it out thin and seeing how much we can get out of it. Okay, rolling out super thin. Okay, not super thin. We don't, like I said, we don't want this like paper thin like we were doing with tortillas, but we do want it fairly thin because it will puff up when it cooks, and we don't, or bakes, and we don't want it to be like that. I think this one's actually going to be thinner than most of the other ones I've done. Oopsies, but that's okay. We'll just pretend. Okay. And that scooching back and forth move is something you don't normally want to do when you're cutting things out. I just did it because. So I'm going to see about rolling this out more like a tortilla, and where Tuesday, when I figured out rolling out tortillas a little bit better, that was super nice. So with the tortillas I found, I'm going to need a little bit more flour. So I found that I wanted to roll the whole thing pretty thin, not like all the way thin, but fairly thinned out. And then once we get the majority of the dough rolled to a fairly thin thickness. Then you just go on the edges and turn it a little bit, and that helps make it have a sealable area better or something like that. I don't know. I'm just trying it. All right. Woo-hoo. Okay, these edges are really thin. So I'm going to roll it out this way a little bit and then roll on the edge, because it will build up like a bunch of dough in the middle since we're rolling it into the middle. But having it thicker in the middle is better for at least the tortillas it did. So, alright. These are still baking in the oven. I wasn't going to use a second sheet pan, but let's get a second sheet pan. First one, they're looking pretty good. This one's going to be a lot bigger than the others just because it's rolled out the way it is. But I do have another one of those silicone mats. It's going to be a whole thing to get that out. So we're going to just not do that right now. And this is a lot easier. Voila. It is covered. Okay, so with this, we're going to try a little bit different. Got a big spoonful, put it in the middle. Look, it looks a lot better there. And then I'm going to take a little bit of egg wash and put it around the edge. I'm going to use my finger. Put this around the edge. To the side, all around the edge. Fold it over. Making ravioli here. Alright. Apple ravioli? Not really. Okay. And so with this, I'm going to turn this edge in, and then we're going to crimp it and see if that helps at all. Because I don't know if it's because I like stretched the dough too much when I was putting it together, or what. But it looks like all of the ones in the oven are coming apart. They do need a few more minutes to bake, but we'll look at those here in a second. So I'm just crimping all of these down. Ooh, let's get a little bit of flour on this fork so that it's not sticking so much. I think it's the apple cinnamon mixture on the fork that's making it stick. Oh no. Okay, fine. We'll get a new fork. Okay, new fork. Much better, much better. Crimping a lot easier. So, like I said, I don't know how well these are going to crimp, so we'll see what happens. And we'll also get to see how they do on the paper versus the silicone mat. Okay. This is just, I don't know if it's because this edge is so thin or if it just has like a lot of sugar syrup coming out. But you see that tearing apart? Not supposed to do that. That's making me frustrated. Oh, okay. So how many do we have over here? Not sure. So let's lay a couple of them out. Three, four. Okay, so it looks like we have 3 more after this. I am going to kind of stretch this one out a little bit just because it's like the edges are kind of thick, and I think it's because of the way I cut it with the bowl. So we're just not going to stretch it to put it together. All right, so spoonful of filling. Now I think for this size that scoop might work out, but since we're already using a spoon, we'll just keep using a spoon. It might be a bit much for that one. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Like, do you see all this juice running everywhere? I'm trying to keep that from happening, but it seems like these are very juicy. Watch, I was trying to cook this syrup down, but I didn't want the apples to be like baked to death before. All right. First batch of empanadas. Toasty and golden brown. This one completely flopped open. But most of these look pretty okay. I think this is the one we're having issues with. So we'll have to try these once they cool down and see what they're like. Those are like apple pie bites. These are like apple pie hand pies. Something like that. Okay. So I'm going to go with the technique I went with earlier where I'm pinching the edges. And looks like this one didn't get syrup everywhere, so that makes me happy. All right, we got one. Just go through and pinch up all of these edges, and then we'll go through and crimp them with a fork. But pinch edges and then crimp with a fork. I think I want to put a little bit more in that one. It just looks really sad. But also I don't want like a bunch of the syrup everywhere either. So we'll see what happens. Pinch, 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 pinch. Oh man. Okay. Pinch sides. Bring it up to the middle. Pinch the middle shut. See, these actually look pretty good. Like I said, I do want to put a little bit more filling in this one just because it looks very sad. It looks like it has a sad amount of filling in it. And that looks better. So fold up like a taco, pinch the edges, and then pinch closed all the way around. And it's all closed up. Okay, so we have our last three. Put our filling in, and then this is looking good, looking good, looking good in the neighborhood. All right. So, oops. I'm running out of apple bits in here. That's okay. So, I am trying to drain a lot of the syrup off so that it's not making a huge mess. And like I said, we'll see about using the syrup as like a dipping sauce or something later. I'm not sure about that. This is a lot more watery than I thought it was going to be. I thought I'd simmered it down enough that it wouldn't be watery like this, but it was even more watery in the pan yesterday. I think I got the apple bits out. I'm just going to like throw another piece over here just to make it look a little bit more even. He still looks sad. I don't know. All right. So we'll just close them up, and then worst case scenario, we'll have great pie dough that will, oh no, it's spilling. All right, we'll have great pie dough that we can dip into an apple brown sugar sauce. But, oh, I think are these similar to what you can get at like a Mexican restaurant? With the fried dough and the sugar and stuff. I don't know. Let me know. Is this the same kind of thing as what you find in a Mexican restaurant? I think that's something different. My mom came over and made those one day, and those are just like fried dough with like jam and cinnamon sugar. So I don't think they're the same as this, but seems like it would be very similar. So just go through, crimp the edges. I'm hoping that maybe these are big enough or whatever, that the other ones weren't, that look, it's spilling. I don't know. We'll see how it turns out. Let me turn it on this side and crimp it because like it's spilling out right there. That's not what we want. All right. Scrunch, scrunch. Like, I don't think this is going to keep it from spilling out, but we're trying, we're seeing what we can do. Okay. Crimp, crimp, crimp. And these will go in the oven 15-20 minutes or so. Oh man, now looking at the clock, we've already been in here doing this for about an hour, so I don't think we're going to do the flour tortillas today, or not flour, corn tortillas today. I just think that's going to take a lot more time than what I'm prepared to put into it today, which that's fine, that kind of thing happens. So we will take a look at what these challenges are coming up, and we'll fit in corn tortillas on a different day because I still want to make corn tortillas. We're just not going to be able to do them today or this last Tuesday like I wanted to, but that's okay. That's okay. We're figuring this out one step at a time. And I think that this is actually going to make a really good like apple caramel once we get everything all put together. And so I think that once these like cook and caramelize on here, then they'll be just fine. I'm not sure if it's actually going to do that or not, because I cooked the syrup in the pan for quite a while and it doesn't have any kind of thickening agent in it. It's literally just the sugar and like sugar, cinnamon, a little bit of lemon juice with the apple. So like I said, I don't think it's actually going to cook down into like a thick kind of syrup, but we'll definitely see. So we have these. Here, let's try a couple of these with the apple syrup on it, because this is, like I said, it's a sugar syrup, so it should make it at least shiny. So we'll try this on a couple of these and see how they do, and then we'll just do the brown sugar and egg wash on the rest of them. Now, I'm watching, I'm probably going to be like kicking myself, being like, oh my gosh, that syrup was just the amazing thing on top, and I wish I would have done so much more. Well, we might get there. We might see, that might be a thing, but we'll definitely have to see. We'll have to see. So we're going to have the rest of these. See, I found it. Just a little bit later than I was expecting. All right, so see, super easy. All right, wash, wash, wash. Wash, wash, wash. And this is just a beaten egg. Like some people put water or cream or milk in their egg wash, and those are all valid options. But for me today, we're just doing a beaten egg. Yep, these are definitely gonna explode. Like pushing on this, and you see that coming out already. It's like, yeah, that's gonna spill out. So now we're just gonna sprinkle these, the ones that we did the egg wash on, with some brown sugar and toss them in the oven and see how this goes. Brown sugar. Because these other ones that we put brown sugar on, they actually look really good. They're just super tiny, and most of them have exploded open. And that's not what we were wanting for this today, but sometimes it doesn't turn out the way you want, which is why we're here. We're here to check this out, test it out, the recipe, and see how hard is it actually. So these are going to go in the oven, and we'll check them in 10 to 15 minutes. All right. we have that part all done. Let's take a look at our cooked ones. Karen has had time enough to cool down that I can lift it without
Add to the stage. Hello. No, I'm not Laura Croft. I just have her hairstyle. Would like my hair longer. It'd be really awesome. Alright, so I don't know. You can see like this one popped open. Like this one looks pretty good, but oh, they did like all of that sugar caramelized on the bottom. That's gonna be super awesome. Like you see this one, it has all the little caramelized sugar around it. Okay, so some of these have some nice golden color on them. They have color on the edges. Let's break this open and see what it looks like inside. All right, that looks like a nice little dough, or not dough, like little bread, and it's got the apple bits inside. And we have these chewy apple bits on the outside that are chewy and hard. We'll see how that turns out. All right, so I'm gonna take a bite. Mmm, it's a good little ham pie. The dough is slightly buttery because we use butter for it. Mmm. So this isn't the kind of apple pie that you're gonna get at like McDonald's or even like you go to the grocery store and they have those little individually wrapped pies. This is a much fluffier dough than like an American pie dough. American pie doughs are very flaky. Um, this is a lot more tender. It's a lot more tender, and it's still really buttery, but it's closer to like a tortilla or like a thin flatbread kind of thing, where it's um, kind of like a pancake or a crepe, but still like a thick crepe, like a thick crepe. I don't know. So something like that. And it's this like light, fluffy instead of flaky, but it's still buttery. It's really good. So that is amazing. I like this. So I'm really glad that we got to make empanadas today. Like I said, I would love to make the corn tortillas. I don't think we have the time for that today because by the time I make that, then I think it's going to be almost 2 o'clock by the time we actually finish making the dough, and then that's just going to be its whole production process. So we'll see about having a special live stream on a different day where we make the corn tortillas. I'm really happy with the majority of how this turned out. Like we have, I don't know if you can see this one here, busting open. A lot of these little ones are busting open, and like I said, I think it's because they were smaller, and so I think I actually stretched them in order to get them to seal. And you don't want to do that because they'll pop open like this. But that's all right. So these are probably going to go in just like a little Tupperware bin, and we'll eat on them throughout the week. I'll see if the kids like them. But I can't make it. So that was a lot of fun. And it was really great that we made everything on Tuesday and then we're able to just put them together today. You can make your dough, make your dough, put it in the fridge. Make your apples, put them on like something flat and let them cool down and then make them like an hour later. You can do that. It was just going to take too much time for us to do that over a stream. So we did all the prep on Tuesday, we put them together today and bake them and they look amazing. Actually, here, let's do this. So we have a little bit of apple empanada and then we have our sugar syrup. I just got a little bit in this spoon just to kind of make it easier to see. So I'm not going to do the whole jar. Dip this in the little sugar syrup, and we'll try it this way. That sugar syrup is really good. It brings more of like a fresh apple kind of flavor to it. Yep. I do think that syrup could be simmered down just a little bit more, but like seriously, let's see. That's like 4 ounces. Like you can't see it, but the jar has lines on it. And we have 2-ounce line. There's 6-ounce line. Nope, 6-ounce line. This is the 4-ounce line, and so it's closer to the 4-ounce line. So 3-4 ounces of sauce, probably not worth simmering down. But this is pretty good. So if you liked this, go ahead and subscribe, and we'll be back on Tuesday. I'm not sure what we're gonna make on Tuesday yet, but we actually are. I'm trying to figure out a time on Saturday to live stream the choice that we make from Friday about what we're gonna bake on Tuesday. And we'll go through and do more of a taste test with the tortillas and the big empanadas. We'll see how those turn out, because those are just going to bake for now. Remember, for the month of March, I am participating in the Bake-A-Wish Challenge, which is the Make-A-Wish Foundation is doing a weekly baking challenge. So come on out and watch it, hang out and watch while we support the Make-A-Wish Foundation by doing their weekly baking challenge. It's going to be a lot of fun. I am launching more on my website and Patreon and all of that kind of fun stuff. Check things out in the links below, because I have the Bake-A-Wish challenge links there, and I also have my Patreon, and my website should be linked. If it's not, we'll go through and check the links here later. Like and subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you on Tuesday. Thanks for stopping by. I'll see you later.